This is Football Primetime. I'm your host, Bill Dean. Of course, here with my co-host, AJ Dean. Sam is behind the controls, but he's sitting this one out. I actually screwed up already. Sam told me to do the Step 5 alt. I did Step 5 regular, so I showed the 3-phase shot. Sam, I'm good, buddy. I got it here. But yeah, we are back for another tantalizing episode. Episode 33, Football Primetime. So I mean, football. The weekend. We got a whole bunch of teams that, and I know we're gonna get into college in a second, but a whole bunch of teams that were able to come in and steal their divisions and steal the number one seeds, and we'll get to all that. And everything that's going on in the football world in the NFL. But yeah, college. Right now I'm kind of tuning in between the Rangers / the Steelers and Browns, but and we'll talk about Baker and Roethlisberger. Obviously, two different trajectories, two different paths. But college football, I mean,
a lot of good games.
Yeah, but it wasn't even that it was good games. I mean, Bama kills Cincy. And
all right.
I shouldn't really say that, right? Cincy played competitive. I know the score wasn't there, but I do feel like they belonged in the upper echelon teams. Yeah. Maybe they're obviously not. They should be the CFP. The NFL, the college football NCAA got it right. The selection committee, they got it right in terms of putting Cincy in, even though hey, would Notre Dame have done better, or any of the, who knows. But the point is that they did get it right, and they gave the team a chance, and they deserved it, very, very rightfully so. But I guess, looking back at it, they were outmatched by a Bama team that was underdogs to Georgia, killed Georgia, and then they come out and they slaughtered them. They played great, in terms of time of possession and their offense and their defense, Bryce Young. And Cincy, I love the coach. It's Mark Richt, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's Cincy. And their quarterback is fun to watch, but they were out. Nick Saban. There's a reason why he's Nick Saban, and there's a reason why he's going to be doing this till he's 90. The guy just gets premier talent, and that was a mismatch, and they saw that. But I do give Cincy credit; they played a competitive game. Like I said, the score doesn't really tell you this, the whole story. But I think that they're going to still be around for years to come. He's got a good program there. I do think that he needs to move. I mean, I know Cincy's a good school, and all this stuff, but
I don't know.
He's shown that he can build a competitor, and if he can go to one of the big schools and bring this acumen, this level of leadership, I think he's going to be a very successful coach.
No, I mean, I think they played well. I mean, obviously, I agree 100%. I think Cincy should have been in the in the college football playoff. I mean, you're playing a juggernaut in Alabama, and I mean, we'll get into the other game too a little bit, but I mean, Michigan didn't fare well against Georgia at all. So I mean, I think it's just the tale of two different teams. Where Alabama and Georgia this year are leagues
What's crazy
ahead of other teams.
Alabama graduated to the NFL 12 players last year, and they are again in the national title game.
Yeah,
and we'll get into this a little bit. I think that they're going to win. I just think that they have Georgia's number, even though Georgia has probably more NFL prospects right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia put the smackdown on a Michigan team that has NFL players. There's a lot of guys on that really defensive line. It's a top team, and you can see that Jim Harbaugh has the makings of a team going forward that is going to be very competitive and stay within this within this high echelon. And I know it took them a while to get here, and I know that Michigan and Michigan fans were worried. Ohio State was giving them shit about it. Harbaugh versus Urban Meyer and now Day, but Ryan Day, but. He's got his team there, and he's got monster linemen, and the defensive line looks really good in terms of prospects. And they have to get the quarterback. I don't think the quarterback was bad, but I still think they need to get that top top recruit. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
really seen their classes coming up, but yeah, I mean, Georgia came out. They knew that they needed to put a stamp on this game because of what happened in the Bama game and the loss that they had, and looking like a very wounded team coming in, and they showed them exactly why they were the number one for how many years before they came back, or for
Yeah, I
how
mean,
many weeks before before Bama took it over.
no, I mean, I think it just shows that like, yeah, Bama crushed Cincy. It was 27-6. They weren't able to get a touchdown, but Cincy keeping them close. Bama had a touchdown in 3 of the 4 quarters. So they kept them close. All the way. It just when you're playing a defense like that, where like you said, you have so many NFL prospects and guys that are, that whole team is loaded with NFL stars. It's tough for any program, to compete with them. And I think Cincy fared well. Hopefully, that it's a team that continues to grow and they keep continue to gain more NFL talent. Around those, and it's nice to see a non top Power Five conference, make it in there.
Yeah,
Obviously you like to see a better game. But I mean, it's good for college football, in general. As we kind of alluded to the other game, with Michigan and Georgia, you know, I think there was the same fare where where Georgia was just the all around better team, way more NFL talent, and just lights out better than Michigan.
yeah, yeah. I mean, so for the game coming up, I don't know what you're gonna say, but I think it's Bama. I don't necessarily know that there is a team that has, it's been more on a run. Just from everything I see that their line, their defensive line, their quarterback's playing well. Bryce Young, their wide receivers, running game
Heisman
is,
winner.
is very solid. Yeah, I mean, um, I don't know. What do you got? You think it's Bama or you think Georgia?
I mean, I personally would like to see Georgia win it, just to see somebody
Yeah,
different, and new. I like Georgia. We'll see. How they kind of rebound from their last matchup against them. Um, I'll go opposite you. I'll say Georgia. But it's gonna be a closer game than it was last time for sure.
yeah. Um, Tuesday, January 4th. So tomorrow you have the Tax Act Texas Bowl, which is LSU and Kansas State. That's the only other game before that Monday, January 10th, 8 p.m. ESPN Classic for the national championship. Bama
I
versus
will say
Georgia,
though,
number one versus number three.
the best bowl game so far this year was the Purdue Tennessee game.
Yeah, we'll actually get
Fantastic
into
game.
that because back and forth. I know a lot of controversy at the end was he stopped Tennessee on the goal line, and
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a Purdue fan, and I'm going to say that they weren't
Tennessee
stopped,
got
but
screwed.
they got screwed. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
clearly was not down. It
Mhm.
was the very quick whistle. I don't understand why the ref would allow that to kind of play out that quickly, but Purdue
Yeah.
gets the win. What was the final score? That was by 3 points.
48 to
48-45 in
45.
overtime. Yep.
Yeah.
That was the Music City Bowl. And first of all, Tennessee, holy home game, Batman.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
could you have given them any better of a spot to play this game against Purdue?
yeah. Yeah.
Because
In
and I
Nashville,
guess
insane.
yeah. And another thing, I mean, as for Purdue fans, has there been a better year for Purdue football? I can't imagine there
Not
being a better year.
Probably
Uh,
not
You know,
since Breeze.
but I mean, yeah, in terms of bowl wins and just record wise, sure, I'm sure there's a better season, but just the year that they had from
Yeah.
two monster wins versus obviously Illinois 13 and
Top
9,
three
and
teams.
then and then MSU where they were number 3 in the team 40-29. I know that they lost to Ohio State 51-31, but they did a number on some teams that I didn't think that they
Yeah.
would come close to doing things like that. Obviously they lost to Notre Dame, was at in the beginning of the season 27-13, but
Yep.
beating 3 ranked teams, Tennessee, Iowa, and then obviously Michigan State. Fantastic season and
Yeah.
a lot of fun. I mean, two wins against top 5 opponents is crazy. Two wins against top 3 opponents is
Yeah.
crazy in the same
Yeah, it
in
was
one season.
yeah, it's been a season like no other.
Yeah,
I feel like Purdue,
I like it.
Purdue football
Good.
always. I feel like they always have, every other year they have a big win against either Ohio State or some kind of top 5 team or whatever, to be a little bit of a spoiler. But this year
Yeah.
was nice to actually watch Purdue football and them actually be somewhat decent. So
And I got that John Rothenberg quote. Don't worry, I hear you there. And then obviously Sam not being here, but his Penn State Nittany Lions versus number 21 Arkansas, 24-10 in the Outback Bowl. Sam, I know if you're listening, bud, that's a tough one, and I can understand why you don't want to be on the podcast right now.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but Clifford had a bad game, 2 interceptions. Actually, both quarterbacks played terrible. The kid from Arkansas, Jefferson, I think he threw under 100 yards, had 1 interception. But obviously his rushing ability is very good, 20 carries for 110 yards and the touchdown. I just, Penn State, they have, plenty of time, 7-6 to finish the year, but their recruiting is not where it needs to be a primetime team, and you can clearly see that in the way that they play sometimes. But yeah, rest of the bowls, fun season. We're looking forward to the championship on the 10th, and that's it on the college football season. But and we'll get in obviously we'll get into that score in 2 weeks because next week we will be off the air before the bowl game is pretty much over. Actually, we probably will have a good idea of who's going to win at this time. But so now on the NFL, and I talked about the Browns and the Steelers. Right now, Steelers winning 7-0 through 15 less in the second. This is obviously Big Ben's last year. A guy that's had a very good career from third quarterback taken in that draft behind Eli and then Phillip Rivers. And I think it would be an interesting debate, or at least to see where you would rank those 3 quarterbacks in terms of careers if you were to rank them. Hot take, I think my number 1 is Rivers, but that's for another day. We'll do that later, but
yeah. I mean, it just depends on who you value more.
Yeah.
The championships or the stats.
Yeah, I mean, both Roethlisberger and Manning both with 2. Obviously, Roethlisberger's probably having a better career stat-wise. I'd actually have to look that up. On what between those 2, but Rivers obviously had good teams. He had some playoff issues, but his regular season stats are awesome. And I just always had fun watching him. But Roethlisberger, obviously, fantastic career. Yeah, dadgummit. One of those players that you watch and you see him get sacked, but it's not a sack, right? He somehow spins off of it. The guy's got one of the biggest upper halves and then one of the lower halves that I've ever seen. He's
kind of got chicken
thin legs. Yeah. And he just is able to break sacks and spin away and then make some crazy, ridiculous throw. He's done it time and time again, and he beats receivers or he beats the D-backs, and his receivers seem to get open, and he just always has those, time after time.
I mean, for as bad as his past 2 years have been, I easily would have taken him, as a Jet quarterback.
I mean, what was that? The 2000 NFL draft, right?
2003.
No, not
right?
2002. No, 4. Sorry.
4.
Was it 4? Yeah, 4 was Manning. So 2004, you had Eli Manning, then you went Rivers, and then Roethlisberger went 11. So let's look at the 2004, 2005 at New York Jets. I'm going to guess that that's probably Pennington, right? What am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Would have been Pennington, I think. Here, roster. Yeah, Chad Pennington, Quincy Carter, Brooks Bollinger. Let's see, do we have stats here? I mean, obviously career-wise, I would take Roethlisberger, but
Yeah.
how did he do?
I'll say
Let's see,
Pennington was on the team by what, 2007, 8?
2006, 2007. 2007 was his last season. The 2004 season, uh, the Jets signed them to that record contract for 7 years, $64 million. They went 5-0, and then in Week 9 against the Bills, Pennington injured his rotator cuff and missed 3 games. Quincy Carter was 2-1 in Pennington's absence. The Jets are in a wild card berth. Pennington led the Jets to a first-round 2017 win against the San Diego Chargers, which would have been, I guess that would have been, no, that would have been Drew Brees, right?
Yep, that would have been
Because
Breeze.
he
Yeah.
played that season.
Yep.
Jets then faced 15-1 Steelers at Pittsburgh. Jets defense especially rallied to score 17 unanswered. However, Pennington and the Jets would see their season end with kicker Doug Bryan missing 2 potential game-winning field goals. The Steelers went on to win in overtime, and that's when the Steelers won the championship because that was Roethlisberger's first year. I was trying to look at his stats, but apparently Wikipedia. Oh, here it is. 2004. 13 games. He had the 16 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, 2,600 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, not good.
Yeah.
But he never really. I mean, his career touchdown or his career high in touchdowns was the Jets in 02. He had 22. And his career high in yards was in Miami with 3,600. But for the Jets, his career high was 36.52. He was actually a yard off. He was in 2006. He had played 16 games. I mean, I love Chad Pennington. I would very much have traded him for Roethlisberger as a rookie. And like I said, Big Ben. That first season, he was pretty much. I think Mark Sanchez was better in his first season than Ben Roethlisberger. And Ben Roethlisberger, I think, had the worst game ever for a quarterback. In a Super Bowl. I think actually that his rating is like one of the worst, if not the worst.
Right.
Yeah, it was terrible. There's been a bunch of quarterbacks where you can look back and like their Super Bowls were god awful, and his rookie year was terrible. Flacco, yeah.
Manning.
So Roethlisberger in 04 was 13-0. That's weird. I guess who started those other games? I'd have to look at that. He started 13 games, played in 14 total. 13-0. He was 2,600 yards, 17 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. And then in that Super Bowl, I believe I want to say he was, let's see here, playoffs, conference. Sorry, I'm delaying for some time here because I'm trying to figure out why I can't see the Super Bowl.
Well, let's go to the other quarterback against Pittsburgh.
So yeah, we'll look in the offseason. Maybe we'll do that. We'll do games for Super Bowl winning quarterback, best and worst. I'll make sure we knock that down.
I just saw a stat because Baker threw his I don't know if it's his first interception. Yeah, it's his first interception of the night a few minutes ago. That's his 55th pick since him entering the league. He's obviously
4 years.
He's the most picks in that draft class.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I like the moxie. I like, his cockiness. Obviously from a guy at a different team, sometimes it shows his arrogance and he doesn't. Yeah. But, I like that he had the chip on his shoulder. I think he lost the chip when he was taken first overall. I think that he lost that ability to use that to fuel himself. And, the commercials, by the way, are funny. All the ones
Still
that he
fantastic.
does are awesome. Where he lives in the dog pound at the Cleveland Arena, or football field, and they're awesome. But like, I don't know, and I know he deserves the right to be in the commercials. Like I said, he's making tons of money. Good on him. Yeah, he did. And I feel like I think this might be his last season in Cleveland. I really think that he's come to the point where, I don't necessarily know that they can go back with him and expect to, um, expect to be that kind of team. And it's sad they're 7-6. What's the
7-8.
sorry, 7-8. They're not going to have a good pick to really take a quarterback. I don't know who's going to be out there on the free agent wire. We'll delve into that more as the season
Well, the
goes
thing
on.
is,
But
you saw what Case Keenum could do, right? In relief of Baker. You just need somebody that's a
yeah,
game manager because you have the
they have a
running
great
backs, right? You
defense.
have Chubb, you have Dearness Johnson, you have
Yeah,
Kareem Hunt. You have three guys that are carrying that team. Um, Obviously, like you said, the great defense. You don't need somebody. You don't need a great quarterback. You need somebody that's not going to turn the ball over. And Baker's been turning the ball over a lot over the past 2-3 years. So I agree with you. I think his time in Cleveland's definitely coming to an end. Um, who knows where he's going to land? That'll be interesting to see.
yeah. So obviously that's 10-0 at the half. Something that I saw Cooper Kupp say, and now I'm changing a little bit to the players and teams real fast, but Cooper Kupp obviously is about to make history. He has several opportunities in making history when they play their final regular season
Mm-hmm.
game against the 49ers. But he actually thinks that there should be an asterisk if he was to break that record. He thinks that he's in a new age of football. They're playing 17 games a year, and obviously, records that were played in 16 games hold different weight. And he's on track to become the fourth player during the Super Bowl era to earn the NFL's Triple Crown, which is receptions, touchdowns, and receiving
Mm-hmm.
yards. It's incredible. Obviously, the only guys to do that were Sterling Sharp, Jerry Rice, Steve Smith. Um, so he's at the league high 8,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, 138 catches. He has a chance to set the single season receiving yards, which he is, I want to say he's how far off? He is. So 1964 was Calvin Johnson's
He's
receiving
100,
yards.
136.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. It's not easy. He needs 135 to tie the record. Um, he has more than 100 receiving yards in 10 games this season, 4 games with 130 or more receiving yards. Plus, um, Michael Thomas owns the single season receptions with 149. He's obviously um, one reception. Sorry, 11 receptions away from tying that one. Uh, I don't know that he's going to be able to do it against a very good 49ers defense, but I like that he said that you have
Yeah.
to separate those records. I think that's a very admirable thing to say.
Yeah, but I mean, what about those guys that set records before there were 16 games,
Yeah,
or so stuff like that. I mean, there's always going to be seasons getting longer or things changing where it's going to be different. It, in a few years, I don't think people are going to be talking about that there should be an actress there. It's going to be the new norm. It is what it is. That's just
yeah,
my
probably.
thinking. I like that he said that, but I mean, it's going to be the new norm. You know, these many games, and soon, who knows? Maybe it's going to be 18 games. Yeah. So who knows?
Uh, Raiders. I mean, they just keep their season, and I know they got a big win, and they control their destiny if they can win in week
Mm-hmm.
17. Sorry, technically week 18, but the 17th game. But their cornerback Hobbs arrested on DUI hours after the win. They just have had such a ridiculously tough season in terms of people just having issues with
Mm-hmm.
Gruden and their first round rookie wide receiver crap from Alabama,
Ruggs? No.
Ruggs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Ruggs. No, you're right. To Hobbs and their coaching, that's such a rough thing, and it'd be
Never ending.
cool for them to. It'd be cool for them to actually hit that. That playoff threshold. They'd have to get the win, and they would beat out Indy. I think it is for the last spot.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Conference, yeah, conference.
Yeah. Right now it's Indy.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Indy's technically in on point percentage and also games, but if they are able to beat, they play the Chargers. Is that what it is? Is it
No,
Raiders? Who do the Raiders play in Week
um,
17?
they play.
Oh, Chargers. It is Chargers. It's the Monday night. Sorry, it's the Sunday night game, 8:20 p.m. Because they just beat the Colts, and that's what would have allowed them to get that.
But I mean,
So the
it's
Chargers.
if the Colts win, they're in. They're playing the Jaguars, so I'm assuming the
No, no,
Colts
no,
are going
no.
to
I
be in
think
there.
if I thought it was the Raiders when they're in.
No, the Colts are still ahead.
They have
So
to
as
lose.
long as I'm pretty sure as long as the Colts win,
So I have
let's
to,
look at the
yeah, I have
standings
to
real
look up
quick.
NFL playoff scenarios. I was just reading it. I thought it was the other way, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so playoff picture, Week 17 scenarios. All right, so right now, Tennessee Titans have the AFC top seed. They have a 78% chance. All they have to do is win at the Texans. Chiefs need, I believe it is, a win and then a loss by the Titans in order to get the number one seed. And this is actually the first time since 2008, I think it was, that a team will have 5 losses and still be the AFC's number one seed. So pretty
It's
interesting.
crazy. Yeah.
Bengals clinched the North. Bills have clinched the playoffs. They have a 95% chance to win the division if they beat the Patriots in week. They need to win and beat the Jets, and they'll be number one in the division.
Yeah.
Patriots have a 5% chance. They play the Dolphins. The Colts, remaining schedules at the Jaguars, projected first round matchup with the Bengals. They have an 85% chance to make the playoffs, so they do need a win, and that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers need a loss by the Colts and to beat the Raiders. Raiders need to beat the Chargers and have the Colts lose.
I thought it was
Steelers
just.
need. How
Oh,
do the Steelers? I don't remember who the Steelers. Steelers have to win tonight, obviously, and then they have to win next week, and then I don't know who it is between the Chargers or
so
the Raiders.
they make it if so they have the win over Miami. They have a tiebreak
Yep.
over Miami based off of win percentage. Then they have a division tiebreak was initially used to eliminate Baltimore. So Pittsburgh wins the tiebreaker over Baltimore. So I think they need the Chargers to lose and the Colts to lose, and then they would jump and be in.
Okay, so the Raiders will also need then a Steeler loss for them to make the playoffs.
No. So they still have. Actually, no. How's well? All right. No. Yeah. So if Pittsburgh wins tonight, they're at 8-7.
Yep, 8-7-1.
Yeah. So they need another win, and then they need at least a Colts loss. They need a Colts loss and a Chargers loss to make it in.
Yeah, but the
And then they have to win
Raiders,
out.
if the Raiders win, they would be 10-7, right?
No, yeah. So if the Raiders win, they're in, and then the Colts, if they lose, they'd be
Yeah, but
9-8.
no, that's what I'm saying. So how can the Steelers can't possibly win because one of those teams that between the Raiders and the Chargers is going to be 10-7.
Not if the
So how do the
Chargers
Steelers have a
lose.
chance?
If the Chargers lose and the Colts
If the
lose,
Chargers lose, they're 9-8. But the Chargers play the Raiders,
yeah.
so one
So
of those two teams is going to hit 10 wins.
there's 2 spots open left.
Oh, it's two
So
spots,
if
6-7. Shit, my bad.
yeah,
Yeah, yep, you're right. And then I guess the Raiders or the Baltimore Ravens have a 2% chance. They'd have to have Steelers lose, one of the Raiders or the
yep.
Chargers win, and then Indy also lose in order to make that. There's a lot of pretty crazy scenarios. NFC playoffs, Packers clinched the number one seed, their home team throughout the playoffs. Rams obviously have the division in the West, Bucks in the South. They clinched for the first time since 08, I think it was.
Steve, you're right. We don't pay attention to comments. I'm sorry.
No, what did you say?
He goes, Colts lose, and as long as the Raiders, Chargers don't tie.
You need a phone option. Well, you could have just stayed on. Colts lose, and as long as okay, all right. Since you don't pay attention to these damn comments. Yep, sorry, Steve. Thank you, buddy. Well, the problem is I have 3 different screens set up here. So for the people at home, I have the screen where I actually set up the show and run it. I have my show sheets. I got you on this screen, and then I have my phone, which I'm trying to also land.
Kind of look at stuff.
Take a look at the options. I'm not paying it. I'm not paying attention all that close to the comment section because I'm trying to figure out everything else. I'm relying on AJ to do that because he's got 3 tablets and all this thing. He's watching a game on one. Like, come on, AJ,
Well, yeah.
be up on the show.
I gotta watch the game right here, right in front of me.
3 different screens and not one locked into these comments. Correct. Cowboys clinched, obviously, the East. That's crazy that they're in the East. Chances to win the division. Earn the numbers thought they were eliminated. Projected first-round matchup is with the Cardinals, which they obviously just lost to. Cardinals have that 5 spot. They clinched the postseason. They just still have a chance to technically win the division, but they're eliminated from the number 1, and they would face the Seahawks. They face the Seahawks this week. Sorry, they would play the Cowboys, like I said. So the Niners have a 62% chance of winning the 6th seed. Philly has automatically clinched a spot. They're at the 7 right now, technically.
Yep.
The only other team in the hunt is the New Orleans Saints. They need a win, and they need a loss from the San Fran 49ers this coming week. And that's pretty good for a team in New Orleans that has been decimated by quarterback injury. Between their running game and their defense, which is awesome, they're a fun team to watch. Obviously, if they get into the playoffs, I kind of expect a one-and-done kind of scenario. But, you got to give them credit. They've played really well, and they deserve a chance to make that team.
No, they've played tough.
You got anything else before we go over the schedule? I was trying to look at.
No, I mean, I just think another thing to quickly note too is just Green Bay winning. Getting home field advantage throughout the playoffs. It's a huge thing. I'm pretty sure they had it last year too, where Tampa had to go through Green Bay. So, it's a big thing being able to play it at home in Lambeau with that cold weather. And I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I think is going to be the MVP this year. The way he's played and the way that just how that team is with him and is without him. I think it's kind of night and day. So,
I mean, we missed 3 big things to talk about. First, just Giants, but the number 1 story. Well, yeah, but the number 1 story of the NFL, Antonio Brown. What a Looney Tune! I mean, and obviously, first off, I don't want to. I don't necessarily know that he has mental illness and all this, who wants to, I don't know about his personal life, but, this guy, I think he does need some help. And, I hope that if he needs it, he can get it, going on from there. But, I mean, how much craziness can one person have in his football career? From what you hear, and there are some different reports that he told the team that he was injured and he didn't want to play in this game. And by the second quarter, he was like, listen, I can't help you guys. And he didn't want to go in. And then obviously him and Arians kind of got in a little bit of a spat. And he was basically told by Arians to get out of here. So that's why he left, took off his pads, and then kind of just walked away, gave peace signs to the, the crowd in New York.
Apparently
got some famous Uber driver to drive him to through New York City or something.
Well, apparently he asked state troopers if he could get a ride.
Get a ride. They thought he was some fan that ran, the field.
First, when he was running off.
I mean, Arians said that.
Been right though.
No, he hasn't.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
He hasn't been right since that hit that he suffered against Cincinnati. That's because I don't ever remember hearing stories of his antics or things happening with him off the field. It all seems like it's kind of come since that hit.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's some crazy stories about him and his doctor and like passing gas in front of his face and like just obviously he had the deal with the not paying his
like the artist.
First of all, chef, the artist, the chef, and then not paying the guy that forged your vaccine card. Like, wouldn't you think you'd want to pay him so he doesn't give you up? But
really.
Just so many scenarios with this guy, and obviously, if mental illness, I hope he gets some help that he needs. And Tom Brady seemed to kind of, in his presser, seemed to kind of hint at that a little bit. But just craziness. Him
Yeah,
storming off half naked across the field. Uh, it's a sight that was
I don't think
all
we'll
over the
ever see again.
NFL. Yeah, and no one. I don't think we've never seen it. We never will see it. It's just it's craziness, and so obviously he was at the big story. But the Jets, I gotta say, AJ, this is the first time that I ever rooted for Tom Brady, and I know that sounds
Yeah.
bad as a Jet fan. Listen, they played competitive and they played very good, and that's a very good thing to see from your quarterback that he played so well.
Hmm.
But they're already bad, and I want to see him play well, but I don't want to see him win because I want the higher draft pick, and I want a better chance, at seeing players come in that are top players. And I know that there's all these draft pundits that are going to say, the seventh pick is is just as valuable as the fourth pick, but the fourth pick gives me 4 opportunities to get the player I want
Hmm.
other than the seventh pick, right? You have 4 more players on the board that you can try to draft other than 7. So that's why I want that, pick. And I didn't think Brady was going to be able to do it because the wide receivers that are on his team, outside of Mike Evans and a hobbling Gronk, which Gronk actually had a pretty good game, but
Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to do it. And this kid Grayson, scores the game-winning touchdown on a blown call. Robert Saleh was pretty pissed with Mike LaFleur, on that offensive call on fourth down where he kind of, I guess he should have told him to give it to Braxton Berrios. Instead, Wilson kind of ran it up the gut and had a 2-yard loss.
Man,
You know,
he had a game. Barrios.
he did. Yeah, he did.
First Jet to have a rushing and receiving touchdown
Yeah,
in the same
and
game.
a lot of people are asking, is he, a number one receiver? And I think he's had a really good year, but he's, and then other people, idiots, comparing him to Wayne Corbett. What? Wayne Corbett was a solid
No.
NFL receiver. Never mind the undrafted part. You're comparing him like that, but he's one of the Jets icons. People wear Corbett's jerseys still, because he's one of the best that we've ever seen at a receiver. First of all, that's bad just to say that he's one of the best. I mean, but he was such a fan favorite and a guy that was loved, a local kid. You can't compare him to Wayne Corbett. It's ludicrous.
No, I mean,
so there's that.
I definitely like him as a player, though. I think he should be your third option. He shouldn't be. He's definitely not your number one wide receiver, or you hope, like you said, that he's not your number
Fourth
one
receiver.
wide receiver.
Yep.
Yeah. Real quick though, I do want to say Gronkowski, although he didn't get a touchdown, had 115 yards. Right, that's his 31st 100-yard game. The only other tight end to do that, Tony Gonzalez. So pretty good company to be in there. As much as he's been on teams that I've hated, I still love Rob Gronkowski because he's like a giant, Labrador retriever that just chases chases balls around and just can't control his energy.
I love him so much more that he's not a Patriot. Now I can actually appreciate him as a football player and a person. Yeah.
Another guy whose commercials have really been good too.
The what is it? The he's on the one for the military. Whatever it is.
Not AARP.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Maybe Steve can comment because he's watching us.
Come on, Steve.
Yeah, come on, Steve. USAA.
USAA.
That's what it is. Yeah, and it wasn't even Steve. I got that on my own.
Yep.
Last thing, the New York Giants judge saying he won't hide from the critics amid the slump. Just another terrible loss. I know they don't have a quarterback. You have the neck and you have Jake Fromm. But this team is awful. Wide receiver, everything, the whole entire top to bottom roster. You can only say that there's a couple players that are playing up to their snuff. It's bad. And, the Giants fans have every right to want a clean house. And I know that I know that Gettleman's probably gone, or most likely gone, probably 99% gone. But they said that they expect both Daniel Jones and Joe Judge back. Daniel Jones, I can see that a little more if you can't get the quarterback that you want. But you're gonna have 2 top 10 picks, and if you can't find a quarterback that you like, the next GM, if you can't find that guy, maybe you do bring Daniel Jones back for another year and kind of go from there. But Joe Judge, he's had 2 bad years, and I liked him coming out, and I really thought that he would be the guy for Giants fans to kind of show them the way along with the
Mm-hmm.
Tom Coughlin route. But it's tough to say with the results you're getting, and Mara has to really dig down deep and see if this is exactly what he wants for another year.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I think you're kind of stuck with bringing back Daniel Jones. I mean, I don't think any of the quarterbacks in this class are, um, I don't want to say worthy of a top 10 pick, or top 5 pick, but maybe you see if you can kind of swindle another team like the Bears and get 2 firsts
You,
for your first,
you know
and
what's
then
a good
go.
option for them? What if you sent your top pick? I'm not saying you're giving them both the picks,
Yeah,
but if you give them your top pick this year and maybe another one, next year, the year after that, go get Russell Wilson.
yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah,
I mean, he wants to go to New York. It's a primetime team.
yeah,
I if I was the Giants and their fans, I would do that in a heartbeat. I mean, I'm not a big Russ Wilson fan, but I mean, you got to look at he's a fantastic player, and I could
yeah.
see, using one of those picks and another future pick to go get a primetime quarterback. Just a thought,
Yeah,
but
not a bad idea.
um, quickly we'll just go through the slate of games this week coming up. Do you have? You want to start her off?
Let me just load this page
Yeah, I
here.
know. I'm also I was trying to see if you were ahead of me a little bit, but
I just
okay.
looked at them on there.
So uh, week 17, obviously right now, week 17 in the book. Sorry, obviously right now we're playing the last game, week 17, but week 18, uh, Saturday, you got KC at Denver. Obviously that game doesn't really mean much. KC just needs to win in order
Yep.
for KC needs a win, and then obviously, like we said, a Tennessee loss. Dallas at Philly. Both teams are in the playoffs, so it doesn't really do much for seeding. Um, so then Cincy at Cleveland. First of all, Kansas City, I'm assuming you're going to take them.
Yep.
Dallas at Philly, which could be a potential playoff matchup. What do you think?
I'm gonna say Eagles. I think the Cowboys just rest players. I mean,
I do. I
might as
agree.
well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I think the same thing happens for Cincy at Cleveland. I think Cincy rests. I think Cleveland would get the
yep.
win there. Um, Obviously, they're probably going to be out of the playoffs depending on what happens here
Yeah.
with this game. But I just realized I had the um, hockey on. Green Bay at Detroit. Aaron Rodgers probably going to sit. Detroit maybe gets its second win of the season. Sorry, third win of the season.
Third one. Yeah.
Chicago at Mini. Chicago beating the Giants, their pick. The Giants have their pick, but Minnesota unfortunately losing kind of
Mm-hmm.
put them out of the race as well. I mean, I guess I think I would see Minnesota as the team that would win there. It's
Yeah. I
tough.
mean, I
Chicago's
mean,
played
I
pretty
think
well.
I think you're obviously gonna have Cousins back too from COVID protocols, so that'll definitely help them. And then I don't think if I remember correctly, Cook didn't play last game, right? I think it was
Nope.
Madison. So
Yeah, Madison.
maybe he plays this game too.
Yep.
Hopefully the Giants get a better pick. So
Yep. Washington at Giants. Washington. I know they lost as well to Philly, but
yep.
and that Philly win. Jalen Hurts, played well. He almost died. I don't know. You see the whole railing thing? Almost, he just like
Mhm.
sidestepped it. I mean, there was 7 or 8 people. If he could have legitimately got hurt if he was crushed underneath
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then he's helping the fans up, getting selfies. Apparently, the Washington football team did like nothing. All the fans the fans that said they fell. They said they didn't come and talk to him or ask him about anything, and they were tired of seeing how they were treating the injuries. I don't know, but
Huh.
Uh, so I think Washington would get the win there. Indy at Jacksonville. I mean, you got to think that Indy gets the win and seals up their
I,
home field.
I could
Seals up the
see
playoffs.
I could see somehow the Jaguars just really
Oof.
spoiling the Colts.
I mean, that's if you're Frank Reich, you have to make sure that your team
Yeah.
is on target, because that was a bad.
Yep.
They lost to the Raiders and kind of gave this up. They could have had the playoffs already wrapped up.
And I
You know,
just I will say though, the Colts for some reason, Carson Wentz, I mean, they just keep
I
throwing the
know.
ball. Give the ball to Jonathan Taylor. Let that man
Yeah.
just keep running.
I mean,
I
the
don't
thing that
understand.
sucks is they have weapons on offense, and
Yeah,
I'm not T Higgins. Sorry. Crud. Wide receiver. Obviously T.Y.
Pittman.
Hilton, but Pittman. Michael Pittman's a very good wide receiver. Any other team, he's probably 1,000 yards, and a main focal point. But they have the weapons, and I guess that's why Frank Reich wants to make sure that
Yeah.
they don't
So
always stack the box. But you have 5 guys on the offensive line that truck people over, and you have
yeah,
the best back in the NFL. So you're
yeah.
right.
So
Use those players.
so listen to this. All right. So in Colts history, right? Obviously, they've had Hall of Famers Marshall Faulk, Eric Dickerson, Lenny Moore. None have finished a season with as many rushing yards, 1,734, or scrimmage touchdowns, 20, as Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
So
Edgerrin James. Yeah, another one. Yeah. Uh, Yeah, I mean, I think Indy gets the win, but it would definitely be a big, huge spoiler for Jacksonville to take that one. Pittsburgh at
yeah,
Baltimore, both teams needing the win for playoffs. Even their hopes in general. Depending on what Pittsburgh does here, I could see Baltimore trying to get back Lamar Jackson because they need him. I like
yeah.
Huntley playing, but they need their star.
It's already looking doubtful. I think for
Yep.
Lamar making it. I like Huntley too, but I mean, I think the Ravens take this just because home field advantage.
Yeah.
And so we'll see.
Big Ben, last hurrah, getting that win. I could see it too. Tennessee at Houston, another game where you could see, Houston being a spoiler. They played well, their defense at least, but Tennessee, very good team.
So
Still,
here's
Donta Foreman, pretty good.
so here's the question here too. If you're Tennessee, do you play your starters and go for home field advantage in the
I
AFC?
think you got to go
Or
home field.
right?
Yeah, I
I
think
think so
you
too.
have to. Yeah, you don't want to go to Arrowhead or I think it's really Arrowhead. That's the only thing you do.
Yeah. No.
Well, if
I mean,
both lost, could they go to Buffalo or New England?
no.
Do they have a chance at number one? No, right? It's
I don't think
eliminated
so.
from number
No.
one.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
I probably read that and I just don't remember. But New Orleans at Atlanta. New Orleans obviously needing the win for their playoff hopes. New York at Buffalo. Buffalo's gotten a win right there. Although I said it last week with Tampa and they, showed me. San Fran at LA. Both teams. San Fran needing the win for playoffs, but both teams very competitive. I could see LA kind of resting some guys, although they do want to win their division and get that home field. So I don't know if they would rest their players. But
And
um,
I think Stafford needs a get right game. He's been interception after
yeah,
interception. I mean, he's not looked at all like he has, the first few weeks of the season. So
and I got to give credit. Odell Beckham has played very well
yeah.
since going to LA, and
Yep.
I think there's all this stuff about him. I think he had what do you have? How many touchdowns in so many games in Cleveland? Now he already has like double the amount. I think he has 5 touchdowns here in LA, and he had like 3 through 20 something games for Cleveland. And who knows if it was scheme or him and
Yeah. I mean,
the quarterback.
I definitely think it's scheme wise. I mean, Cleveland's a running team. Play action.
Yeah, yeah,
LA's the air raid
yeah.
offense. So I mean, he's definitely gonna get the
It's
more
also
targets.
him.
And yeah,
Yep.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I gotta give him credit. He's played very well for LA, and they have 2 good receivers again with him and Cooper Kupp. That New York at Buffalo game, you can get tickets for as low as $7. That's funny. I mean, it's gonna be freezing. No, it's at Buffalo. That would be fun. I'd go to Highland Park just to watch the Jets get slaughtered.
Get some good wings.
Sorry, Highmark Stadium, Orchard Park is what I was thinking of. But yeah, New York at Buffalo, $7, and then the primetime game is LA at Vegas, $309 per ticket. New England at Miami. I think that New England gets the win and they lock up they're not going to win the division because Buffalo will probably win, but another good season for the New England Patriots where they win 11 games. Crazy. Seattle at Arizona. Arizona needs the win, to stay up with LA for the division title. Carolina at Tampa. Tampa's already got it locked up. I'm sure they rest Brady. I could see, them taking a loss here. And then Chargers at Vegas. That Sunday night game. I want the Chargers. Vegas has kind of been on a run. I'm going to say Vegas.
They just find they play terrible and they find ways to win. I'm going to go against you. I'm going to say the Chargers.
I want the Chargers because
I want them to win too.
I like Justin Herbert, but for some reason there's some weird thing going on with the Raiders where everything around them is going chaotic and haywire, but inside and just playing the game, they're 9-7, and they're going to most likely, they could win 10 games, which is crazy for a team that fired their coach, halfway through. So, pretty good slate. Looking forward to football. Got anything else before we do some trivia and head out?
No, I'm just going to give you some quick stats, though, real quick. Some depressing ones. So, Bill Belichick hits 10 wins for the 20th time in his illustrious career. You had...
How many seasons has Bill Belichick coached? Head coach? Probably like 25, 26?
Yeah, something like that.
Makes sense, because how many years in Cleveland did he stink?
3.
Keep going with your stuff. I'll look it up.
So another season for Brady having 40-plus touchdowns. Obviously, he's 44, which is pretty insane for him to do, too. 40 touchdowns for the second consecutive season. Breeze did it in 2011 and 2012. So they're the only two quarterbacks to have 40-plus touchdowns in back-to-back years at the age of 40-plus. What are some other ones here I got for you real quick? Burrow.
He's 7 seasons with less than 10 wins.
That's insane.
He's coached 27 seasons. God damn it.
Burrow is the first quarterback in NFL history to have 400-plus passing yards, 4+ passing TDs, and 0 interceptions in back-to-back games. And his 971 passing yards over the last 2 weeks is the most ever by a quarterback in consecutive victories. Yeah, him and Jamar Chase, insane. Chase single-handedly won me a championship and lost me a championship. So, on that
nice.
Front,
quickly, and I know you're doing some stats. What was the stats about the Ohio State game and the quarterback and the wide receiver? They set records for the bowl game and for a single season, I think it was. Keep going, and I'll find that.
My last one, I'll do 2 more. So you got Kyle Pitts setting a rookie tight end record. Pitts will, where is it here? I just lost it here. Sorry, he could potentially set a record. So Pitts will need to overcome a hamstring injury in Week 17 and have at least 59 yards receiving against the Saints in order to grab the number 1, receiving record for tight end spot. Mike Ditka currently holds that record at 1,076 yards as a rookie. So he could be the first rookie tight end to match that. And then I'll do one more. Robert Quinn. He has 18 sacks right now. He sets, I think, the Bears record, passing Richard Dent at 17.5 sacks. So they still technically have a chance to match Aaron Donald's 20.5 sacks in 2018. So he's 2.5 away, and T.J. Watt 3
sacks.
3
sacks from the sack record. All right, so it was the Utah. It was the game. It was the Rose Bowl, right? It was Ohio State when they beat Utah. Which, first of all, Utah, good job, 48-45. That's a a really good game for them. But so C.J. Stroud had a school record 573 yards and record tying 6 touchdowns. He was 3 yards shy of the record for passing yards in any bowl game. So very good game for him. But his wide receiver, Jackson Smith Najiba, I apologize, I butchered that one, set the record for any FBS bowl game with 347 yards receiving while catching a school record 15 passes and scoring 3 touchdowns. Marvin Harrison also caught 3 TDs for the Buckeyes, who set a Rose Bowl and a school bowl record with 683 total yards was Marvin Harrison.
All right.
But yeah, very, very good games. All right,
ready
trivia.
for some quick trivia? All right, so Jamar Chase obviously wowed, in his rookie season. Obviously, this past week, he had a fantastic game with 11 receptions, 266 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Not only is that the most receiving yards a rookie has ever had in a game, it brings Chase to 1,429 receiving yards on the season. It's the most by any rookie in Super Bowl era. Whose record did he break?
Was it Randy Moss?
No. Well, you're close. Right team, different era.
Oh, Justin Jefferson.
Yep. Yeah. So Justin Jefferson, who set the record 2 years ago, last year. Yep.
I thought so. I guess what was Randy Moss's rookie record then? What was that's not in the Super Bowl era? Wait, so that? I thought Moss had the record for receiving yards. Maybe
Chase set the record for most receiving yards in a game in Bengals history. Became the first ever receiver with multiple games with 200-plus receiving yards in a single season since 2013. He now has 13 receptions total. Only rookie to ever have more receiving TDs is
Randy Moss, 17. 1998. Yeah.
But
not bad.
Yeah, Jefferson was the one that set the record, broke Moss's record last year.
Pretty good. Well, we will be back next week in living color. Go Browns. Let Baker get a win and right off into sunset as a Browns quarterback. We'll see you next week. AJ, got anything else?
No, this is football primetime.